know? What do you know? Man, I'll tell y'all what I know. I'm down here in sunny Southern California, and I can't be happier right now. I don't like coming out this way all the time, but man, sometimes you just get tired of dealing with the cold, and you just got to run out west, so that way you can see some sunlight. So, great thing about where I live at, whenever I leave the house, I can kind of go in any direction that I want to. Now, the bad thing about where I live at is it's not always the greatest rates. So, that's just part of it though. Got a weekly update this week, or for this last week anyway. And I kind of wanted to touch on a subject a little bit. So I got asked a while back in one of the comments, and I can't remember what video it was on or anything like that, but the comment basically just asked if going home as often as I do, does it hurt me? And I would say that it doesn't always hurt. Kind of the way I typically try to run. I try to run 12 days where I'm home every other weekend. Sometimes I got to be home a little more often than that. Sometimes I run a little longer than that. I just kind of offset it as I feel necessary. Good thing about running your own truck, you kind of make your own schedule, so you determine how much money you make. But this last week kind of shows what I deal with whenever I'm trying to go home, or when I'm trying to get back to the house. And it also kind of shows like where the rates are at right now also. The week prior, I had a pretty decent week, and that's kind of how it usually works. You know, usually the week that I run all week long, it is usually a pretty good week, and then the week that I'm trying to get home, it's struggle a little bit. And reason being, because when you're out running and you don't have really a destination, you can kind of follow the money a little bit. You can kind of keep moving and keep making money. But whenever you have a destination that you're trying to get to, your house, when you don't live in a great area, you kind of take whatever you can find to get you in that direction. So necessarily the rate doesn't always play into consideration. Now granted, I still want to make money when I go home. I'm not going to haul just some dirt cheap freight to the house, but it's not always the greatest paying freight. So without rambling too much about it, I'll just get to the point here. So the week prior, I left off at Oakwood Village, Ohio. Now, if y'all remember correctly, I think it was on my last video, I discussed my reload option, or my reload after that canceled on me. So it left me kind of scrambling looking for something. And I found a load out of Lancaster, Ohio, going to Holland, Michigan. Now, it was a driver assist unload. It was an extremely light load. It was 3,000 pounds. It was actually only like 27 or 2,900 pounds or whatever, but I usually round either up or down whatever's necessary. There's no reason to get into exact numbers, but so it was a 3,000 pound load. The load paid $1,200 gross. The cut to the truck was $882.55. Now that was a total mileage with the deadhead on that, 540 miles. I got 8.3 miles to the gallon, so that was a rate of $1.63 per mile to the truck. So once again, this was a last minute load. It was a reload, and hold that thought. So this was a replacement load. My reload canceled on me, so this was a last minute load. So the rate on that kind of, I kind of had a deadhead a little bit to get it. I want to say the deadhead was like 160 or something like that. So from from Holland, Michigan. Now, granted, I'm trying to get to the house, so, you know, going to Michigan, I knew that that would put me up in, you know, around the Chicago area or whatever. So usually I can find something from there going down towards the house or to North Texas. So from Holland, Michigan, I found a load in New Carlisle, Indiana, that was going to Stillwater, Oklahoma. Stillwater, Oklahoma, for some reason I kept thinking it was like 30 miles from my house. It was like 60 miles from my house. But either way, it put me within an hour of the house. So that load paid $2,175, and the cut to the truck was $1,566.21. Now that load weighed 15,000 pounds, so it wasn't heavy. It was marked at 15,000 pounds. I don't think it was. I think it was probably closer to 10 or 12. That was a total mileage of 899 miles. I got 8.4 miles to the gallon, and that's $1.74 a mile to the truck. So that was the only 2 loads that I hauled that week. I went home for 4 days. I was home Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Tuesday is the cutoff for me on my loads, so I didn't get another load in before the end of the week. So I ran 1,439 miles. I got 8.3 miles to the gallon. The truck grossed $2,448.76, and that's $1.70 a mile to the truck. So as you can kind of see, when I'm trying to get to the house, I don't exactly make the best money going home. So what typically happens is the weeks offset each other. I usually have a pretty decent week, and then I have a not so great week, you know, because that's the week I'm going home. Then I come back out, I have a really good week, and then I have a not so great week because I'm trying to get back home. And so, you know, I don't always do so great going home, is what I'm trying to get at. Now, part of that isn't necessarily me just trying to get home. Part of that's just what rates look like right now. They have dropped tremendously over the last couple of months. I would say that it was fairly easy to do over $2 a mile to the truck, as to where now it's getting a little bit harder to do. Now the brighter side of that is fuel prices are coming down a little bit. I say they're coming down. They've been coming down, and then they kind of bounce back up a little bit. They're kind of on this little bit of a roller coaster. They haven't really got great or back to where they was. But with that being said, the Landstar discounts are still kicking tail like always, which helps a lot. I filled up before I got into California a little while back, or just actually a couple hours ago. And my Landstar discount at the Petro that I was at was $1.22 off per gallon. So that helps a lot. You know, and I try to run as efficiently as possible. If y'all notice, I generally stay above 8 miles to the gallon, unless you know, there's other circumstances, you know, extremely heavy through the hills against the wind, you know, something like that. Now there's times like that it's out of your control, you know, and then you're really happy if you do 7.5, you know. But then there's times like when I'm on I-81 and I just get sick and tired of fighting with all the other trucks, and, you know, end up in the left lane just driving the wheels off a truck. But that doesn't happen very often. That's generally not how I run. I'd say 98% of the time I am on the cruise at 60 to 65 mile an hour, and that's where I sit at. So what I'm getting at is most of the time I try to run as efficiently as possible, and that helps offset some cost, you know, your weekly cost. So now I'm just rambling, but in this video has stretched out as longer than I had originally planned. So to answer the question of do I hurt myself going home as often as I do? In a sense, I kind of do, but then again, I don't. So I run as hard as I feel like I need to, and it works for me. So what works for me doesn't work for everybody. Some people like to come out and run 4 or 5 weeks straight. What works for me and my family is being home every other weekend and being home on the days that are important, you know, and my wife kind of determines what days are important. So, you know, anybody that's married, you know what I'm talking about. I'm out right now. Like I said, I'm in Southern Cali. My original plan was to kind of come out. I left on Tuesday, do a turn and burn and get right back home so I could be home for Valentine's Day, and then my daughter's birthday is the day after Valentine's Day, and then I'll come back out. I've yet to determine how long I'm going to run when I come back out. I need to look at my calendar and kind of see what I got going on, but I might run 2.5 to 3 weeks this next time out, because I have taken several days off this month. So got to get out here and get to running and make up for those days off. So if y'all are still hanging around, I appreciate y'all. Like always, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and stay safe. Shiny side up, rubber side down. Catch y'all on the next one.